From moldy garnishes that should never hit a plate.
It's fucking rotten, you fucking idiot! It's rotten! Has a customer just been served a slice of tomato?
And a kitchen so nasty that it sent Gordon over the edge.
Oh, fucking hell. Oh my god. Oh no.
Look at that!
Oh my god. Look at them.
This is the satisfying downfall of kitchen nightmares, Dillon's. What happens when a restaurant has everything it needs to succeed, but still fails every single day? In Manhattan, restaurants fight every day to survive. Dillon should be one of them. It has a big space, a busy location, and a lot of potential. But instead of being full of life, Dillon's feels empty. Tables sit unused. The staff waits around with nothing to do. For the owner, Mohammed Islam, this is more than just a business problem. It is his dream, and every month he loses $20,000 to $30,000. At first glance, Dillon's looks like it could work, but once you sit down, the problems show. The menu is the biggest one. It tries to offer too much at the same time. American dishes, Irish food, and even Indian meals. One page has burgers, the next has shepherd's pie, and another has chicken tikka masala. Instead of being exciting, it feels confusing. Customers don't know what Dillon's is supposed to be. Is it a pub, an Indian restaurant, or a family diner? In the end, it doesn't stand out in any category. The management is also broken. Dillon's has 3 managers. That might sound like a strong setup, but it creates more problems than it solves. No one is really in charge. Each manager gives different instructions, and the staff doesn't know who to follow. Instead of teamwork, there is confusion. Mohammed, who invested his money, feels powerless. Cleanliness adds another layer of trouble. Restaurants in Manhattan need to shine to impress customers. Dillon's does not. Dust collects in corners. The kitchen is messy. The dining room does not feel fresh or welcoming. Customers notice these things, and once they do, they often decide not to return. All these problems lead to the biggest issue, an empty restaurant. During lunch and dinner rush, other places nearby are busy. At Dillon's, silence fills the room. A large restaurant without customers is not just bad, it is dangerous. Every empty seat means more money lost. Mohammed is stuck. He has the space, the location, and the staff, but Dillon's is missing what really matters: a clear vision, strong leadership, and basic standards. Unless something changes soon, Dillon's will not survive. The clock is ticking, and time is running out for Mohammed's dream. While the empty dining room was obvious, the real disaster at Dillon's was hiding behind 3 managers who had no idea what they were doing. When Mohammed Islam finally asked for help, it was clear how desperate he had become. He is the owner of Dillon's, and every month his losses grow bigger. His dream is fading, and he knows he cannot fix the problems alone. The first step is meeting the team. At the top is Martin, the general manager. He should be the one keeping everything under control, but instead he seems to be part of the problem. Martin acts like he knows best, but his decisions do not help the business. Staff members don't respect him, and his attitude makes him the main obstacle to change. Next is Andrew, the operations manager. His job is to make sure the restaurant runs smoothly day to day, but with so many issues, it's clear that he hasn't been able to do that. Then there's Khan, the floor manager, who is supposed to guide the waitstaff and keep customers happy. But he also struggles, because no one knows exactly who is in charge. While management was confusing, the food at Dillon's was something far worse. It was actually dangerous to eat. After meeting the team, the next step is looking at the food. This is where the truth about Dillon's becomes impossible to hide. From the very first plate, the problems are shocking. The menu is filled with mistakes that would turn away almost any customer. A dish listed as a vegetarian appetizer is brought out, but when it is cut open, there is meat inside. For a vegetarian, this is not just a small error, it is a betrayal. Some people avoid meat for health or religious reasons, so serving them meat could offend them or even make them sick. On top of that, the dish itself looks terrible. It is dry, brown, and unappealing, compared to something no one would ever want to eat. One taster even describes it as looking like a dehydrated turd. That single comment sums up just how far Dillon's has fallen in quality. The mix-ups do not stop there. Lamb and beef are constantly confused. Customers order lamb and receive beef, or they order beef and receive lamb. This is not a small mistake. These proteins cost different amounts, taste completely different, and are prepared in different ways. Getting them wrong shows there is no control in the kitchen. Seafood is another disaster. Instead of fresh salmon, Dillon's uses frozen, low-quality pieces. They taste bland, the texture is rubbery, and the presentation is sad. For a Manhattan restaurant where diners expect freshness, this is unacceptable. Even worse are the garnishes. Tomatoes are moldy and soft, yet still placed on plates as decoration. Rotten food has no place in a restaurant kitchen, yet here it is being served to paying customers. And then come the flies. They hover around the kitchen surfaces, land near the dishes, and buzz around the dining area. A fly problem is a clear sign of poor hygiene. If flies are this visible, it makes customers wonder what other unseen problems exist. The food tasting makes one thing certain. Dillon's is not just failing to impress, it is actively driving customers away. Between confused recipes, low-quality ingredients, rotten garnishes, and filthy conditions, the restaurant is in serious danger. While moldy garnishes were disgusting enough, what Gordon found hiding in Dillon's basement was absolutely horrifying. After the food tasting, the next step is a deep look into the kitchen. What should be the heart of the restaurant turns out to be a nightmare. The moment the doors to the upstairs kitchen open, the smell hits first. It is sour, heavy, and unmistakable, the smell of rot. In the fridge, hamburgers are uncovered. At first glance, they look normal, but when lifted and checked closely, the meat is green. Not just slightly discolored, but truly rotten. No customer could ever eat this and stay healthy. Serving it would be dangerous. The fact that what's left there shows how little care or control exists in the kitchen. Nearby, potatoes sit in a container. They are soft, wrinkled, and a week old. Vegetables, instead of looking fresh and crisp, are slimy and spotted with mold. These spoiled ingredients are not ready to cook, they belong in the trash. Yet here they are, waiting to be served to customers who have no idea what they are about to eat. The horror continues with the flies. They are not just passing through, they are breeding here. Swarms of flies buzz around surfaces, land on food, and crawl across utensils. It is impossible to cook safely in this environment. Every plate that leaves this kitchen is at risk of contamination. If the upstairs is bad, the basement is far worse. The moment the stairs are taken down, the scene is shocking. This is not a kitchen storage area. It looks like a breeding ground for pests. Rats are everywhere. Droppings line the corners. Traps are scattered across the floor, showing that the problem is not new. Rats have been here for a long time, living side by side with the food that is supposed to be served upstairs. Boxes are stacked against the walls, and when one is moved, the true scale of the infestation appears. Cockroaches scatter in every direction. Dozens of them crawl over the cardboard, inside the cracks, and across the floor. This is not just a few pests, it's a full invasion. The refrigeration units are no better. Inside, food that should be stored safely is rotten and contaminated. Meats are spoiled, vegetables are slimy, and nothing inside looks safe to serve. Instead of protecting food, these fridges are acting like garbage bins filled with decay. The entire basement is a health hazard. It is not only unsafe for customers, but also for the staff working here every day. The risk of spreading disease is real and immediate. No city inspector would ever allow this restaurant to keep its license if they saw what was hiding below. The conditions are so severe that Gordon has no choice. He shuts down the kitchen on the spot. Cooking in this environment is not just careless, it is dangerous. Dillon's is no longer just a failing restaurant, it has become a public health threat. While rotten food was a health hazard, Dillon's dinner service proved that bad management could destroy a restaurant in real time. The real test for any restaurant is dinner service. At Dillon's, the problems show immediately. Guests arrive and sit at their tables, but minutes turn into long stretches of waiting. 10 minutes pass. 20 minutes. By the 40-minute mark, not a single plate has left the kitchen. Customers grow restless, looking around for answers that never come. The reason is clear. Management has collapsed. Instead of directing staff or helping in the kitchen, Martin, the general manager, spends most of the evening glued to his phone. He chats, scrolls, and avoids responsibility while the service falls apart around him. Andrew and Khan try to help, but without true leadership, nothing gets done. Orders pile up, the kitchen is frozen, and the dining room is full of unhappy guests. The problems don't stop at the slow service. Flies buzz openly around the dining room, landing on tables and glasses. Customers notice, whisper, and shake their heads. Some reach their limit and walk out before being served. For a restaurant already bleeding money, every lost customer is a disaster. By now, Gordon has seen enough. He steps into the kitchen and inspects the food being prepared. With flies in the air and spoiled ingredients still in use, it is clear the situation is unsafe. Gordon makes the only responsible decision. He shuts the kitchen down in the middle of service. No one can be served tonight. After the shutdown, tempers explode. Gordon turns to Martin, the man who should be leading, but instead of taking responsibility, Martin argues back. Their clash is loud and heated, echoing throughout the restaurant. Gordon calls out Martin's failures. Martin defends himself, but his words sound weak against the chaos that just unfolded. One of Gordon's biggest frustrations is Martin's phone addiction. During the busiest time of the night, when the team needed direction, Martin chose his screen over his staff. His behavior is not just unprofessional, it shows a complete lack of care for the restaurant. The bigger issue becomes clear. Dillon's has 3 managers, but not a single true leader. Martin, Andrew, and Khan step on each other's roles without guiding their team. The result is confusion, anger, and failure on every level. With no one taking charge, Dillon's is heading straight for collapse. While most restaurants this filthy would be shut down forever, Gordon decided to do something that seemed completely impossible. Once the scale of the disaster was clear, the first step in saving Dillon's was a complete deep clean. Professional cleaning crews arrived and immediately went to work. Every surface of the kitchen was scrubbed with industrial-strength steam cleaners. Floors, counters, ovens, and refrigerators were sanitized until they shone. Every trace of rotten food, moldy vegetables, and spoiled ingredients was thrown out. Nothing unsafe was left behind. Gordon wanted the staff to understand what clean really looks like. He took them on an educational trip to one of his own well-run restaurants in New York City. There, the team could see spotless kitchens, organized storage, and staff following clear safety rules. It was eye-opening. For many, this was the first time they realized how far Dillon's had fallen and how high the standard needed to be. With the kitchen finally safe and sanitary, the next focus was the menu. The confusing multi-cuisine approach was gone. Instead, Dillon's would focus on a clear, modern vision, contemporary Indian cuisine. Gordon brought in a top expert, Chef Vikas Khanna, to guide the transformation. Together they created a menu that was simple, authentic, and exciting. The dishes were carefully chosen to highlight traditional Indian flavors with a modern twist. Each recipe was tested, refined, and documented. The staff underwent intensive training, learning new cooking techniques and presentation skills. They practiced every dish until it could be served perfectly. The goal was not only to improve the food, but to instill pride and confidence in the team. The transformation wasn't just in the kitchen and menu, it extended to the entire restaurant. Dillon's would be reborn with a new name, Purnima, meaning full moon. The interior was redesigned to match the new Indian theme. Warm colors, traditional artwork, and elegant seating created a welcoming, authentic atmosphere. Even the exterior received a professional makeover, with new signage that announced to the city that something special had arrived. The staff reaction was overwhelmingly positive. They could see the difference immediately. The kitchen was clean, the menu was clear, and the dining space looked modern and inviting. Morale improved, and the team felt motivated to give their best. For the first time in months, it felt like Dillon's, or rather Purnima, was on the path to success. The transformation phase proved that a restaurant could recover from disaster, but only through a combination of sanitation, clear focus, expert guidance, and careful design. Every detail, from the clean kitchen to the new menu and decor, laid the foundation for Purnima's comeback. While the transformation looked amazing, the real test came when Dillon's had to prove it could actually serve customers without falling apart. The night of Purnima's relaunch was planned to make a big impression. Gordon and the team wanted the city to notice that Dillon's was gone and a completely new restaurant had arrived. Outside, a lively Purnima parade drew attention. Music played, dancers in bright traditional costumes moved down the street, and flyers were handed out to passers-by. The energy was contagious. Community outreach was another key part of the plan. Local residents, nearby businesses, and food influencers were invited to come early and see the transformation. Word spread quickly. People were curious to see what had happened to the restaurant that had previously failed so badly. By the evening, Purnima was fully booked. Every table was reserved in advance, signaling hope for a strong comeback. Inside, the kitchen was running at full speed. Chef Vikas Khanna led the cooking team with precision and calm. The dishes were plated beautifully, and the food quality impressed even the toughest critics. For the first time, the menu was consistent. and the kitchen operated like a well-oiled machine. However, service was not without its challenges. Martin, the former general manager, continued to struggle. He failed to manage the floor properly, and some orders were delayed. A few dishes were served cold, drawing complaints from customers. The chaos could have ruined the night, but Khan quickly stepped in. Taking over dining room management, he coordinated the servers, solved issues, and ensured every guest received attention. Tension peaked when Martin finally confronted Gordon in front of the team. Voices were raised, and the argument became heated. Gordon made it clear that leadership and accountability were non-negotiable. Unable to handle the pressure and criticism, Martin walked out in the middle of service, effectively quitting on the spot. With Martin gone, the service immediately improved. The staff worked smoothly together, following clear instructions. Orders were delivered promptly, guests were happy, and the dining room ran efficiently for the first time in months. The atmosphere shifted from tense to professional, and the staff regained confidence. Customers responded positively. Compliments were plentiful, tips were generous, and sales were strong. Purnima's relaunch night proved that with proper leadership, training, and a clear concept, even a failing restaurant could be turned into a success. The combination of excellent food, attentive service, and a fresh, welcoming environment set the stage for Purnima to thrive in Manhattan. While many Kitchen Nightmares restaurants go back to their old ways, Purnima became something nobody expected. A genuine success story. Purnima's relaunch brought instant results. Revenue jumped as reservations and walk-ins increased. Customers raved about the food and atmosphere, leaving glowing reviews online and spreading positive word of mouth. The staff felt the difference too. Service ran smoothly, tips increased, and morale soared. Chef Vikas Khanna remained a key partner, providing ongoing guidance and ensuring the kitchen maintained high standards. Long-term, the restaurant underwent permanent improvements. Management was simplified, reducing 3 confused managers to 2 effective leaders, creating clear roles and accountability. The menu stayed focused on contemporary Indian cuisine, giving Purnima a strong and recognizable identity. The local community, especially the Indian community in Manhattan, embraced the restaurant, becoming loyal patrons. For Muhammad Islam, the transformation was life-changing. He went from desperation to pride, witnessing his dream restored. The combination of strong leadership, quality food, and community support ensured that Purnima was not just a one-night success, but a sustainable, thriving restaurant. From disaster to triumph, Purnima proved that the right leadership, clean kitchens, and authentic cuisine can transform any restaurant. Witness Muhammad's journey from chaos to success. If you love this story of redemption and reinvention, like, share, and subscribe to follow more incredible restaurant makeovers and culinary transformations.